Hi, everybody. Anime Night here. Hope you all are doing good. Welcome back to another edition of Knightcast. Today's heavy topic is loaded with everything from gaming to films to anime. We have a lot going on. Um, and of course, alongside me is Silent Joker, fantastic gamer, Devil May Cry fanatic, Mr. Kupo to you, the great Silent Joker.
Well, I am. Well, I want to call myself a Devil May Cry fanatic, but I love the series. It's a really good series. But anyway, there's a lot of interesting topics that it's just been one weird year after the next, especially with what's going on with Hollywood right now, all the strikes and projects that may or may not be happening anymore. Uh, all these companies scrambling to figure out what to do next when a lot of people are leaving Hollywood. That's why even stuff in my state right now, they're trying to get the bill to be passed so that we can, start producing films. We do have support by, you know, the great Ethan Hawking, who, when he was filming his movie, well, when it's completed, he did the whole tour, came to Milwaukee and said that, you know what, Milwaukee's a great place to be shooting some films, but it's got great history, some great architecture here as well. Why don't we have these incentives that we have? That's why we don't have it. But in order to get that, you need to have a film office here. So hopefully that comes to pass. And there's been a lot of cool updates to that. So they're listening. There's a lot of people that are supporting it. Hell, we can hold film festivals here and we can give out awards to films. We just can't shoot a damn movie here unless you're really, really, really lucky. So hopefully that will change in the next few years, and we can turn the dairy state into one of the tinsel states. That'll be cool for me.
Oh, absolutely. I would like to see you see in that's what I love about America. I mean, yeah, all the other countries are beautiful and everything. There's beautiful landscapes like Switzerland, Norway, the fjords, Tokyo, Japan, China. Um, but here
But
though,
well,
I would like to see more stuff filmed here.
I mean, there definitely is a lot of place like that's why you see a lot of push to Atlanta, Georgia over the many years. Like even the Georgia like state approval, like that's why they had all their like taxes, like the stuff that filmmakers are looking for are there. They have the office, they have the tax credit, everything that they need there to be there. That's why you see a lot of films being filmed in Georgia. Or again, take a look at the hit Smallville. Look where Smallville was filmed. It was not filmed in America. It was filmed in British Columbia. It was cheaper, probably cheaper to film there. It's like, yeah, we don't need to go anywhere. Let's just go over there. Even Lucifer season one was filmed in British Columbia before it was eventually moved back to the USA in wonderful California for the later series seasons. So it's like, yeah, that's interesting to know. But that's what we're looking for. Things to film, where to film, and when you don't have the stuff that's required, even though it's like we do have the equipment and stuff here, is that no one's willing to come. Hey, say it out loud, George. So,
Hey,
and that's
so
why, and that's why I'm even asking you that even if you are in Arizona, I guess there's a boom right now for Arizona. People are filming more and more over there. So, I'm like,
oh,
hey,
absolutely. There's a lot happening out here, and I am very proud of people for actually going out there and taking that risk actually, because I may not know much about filmmaking. I may not know the ins and outs, but I have a genuine understanding of like the risks involved and everything, like locations, permits. Because I have a good buddy of mine who is more in that field by the name of Big Angry Phil. You probably saw him a few times in the chat and everything.
I see it, Bill. Yeah.
I go
Hmm.
on his shows and everything. Ask him about the filming industry. He will tell you like the ins and outs. And he worked on a few things, on a few commercials, here and there. He lives out there actually in California. So
Hmm.
one of these days we will get him here. One of these days. But
I, I have a friend in Arizona that got he finally got to film his small project that he was working on for a while. It's called Lady Doctors. So it's like it's wonderful. It's about doctors and nurses, but also it's kind of like getting the rights to finally vote as well. So you know, as the old saying goes, you work and work your butt off. He's been extras in films beforehand, and trying to get this script to be passed finally. And I guess one of the directors, he looked at it. It's like, I just want to make a couple changes, and we'll kind of go from there. And when you do shoot it and everything, it's done, and you finally watch it. Remember, the biggest critic is yourself. He's like, well, we filmed it, we got it out the door, and it's like, I'm still not liking some of the dialogues. But the thing is, he got out the door, and it's like, that's film number one. There's your name
and
on it with the
yeah,
screenplay credit and everything. He's like, I got it out the door. That's great. But he also said, I can't wait to do bigger projects because you got a credit. You did everything else. It's like, what's next? Like, he's a passionate guy, so I hope for the best for him. I truly do. I truly do.
um, the fact of the matter is, despite the obvious changes, I would be more than happy that the film got out the door. I would be more than happy. I would be happy. Be like, it's out there. Everybody's watching it. I can relax. but I'm happy. I'm happy it's going good for him and everything. I'm very happy to hear that. We love good news all around. We love good news, no matter what it is in or the context. It's as if it's good, we'll gladly share it and everything. That's what we need. We need more positivity news
Yeah,
in this
I'll
day and
I'll give
age.
you the link for that movie so you can watch it too. Even the director, February, which I finally watched the first film in his year project in January, and it's a very good film actually. It's short, it's small, it's to a point. It's about like people who go to church and everything, but there's always those problems. Like this isn't done, or like when's the wedding gonna happen? We need to know. There's a wedding today. Oh shoot! And then you have all these other problems piling up, and it's the month in January, so it's like, yeah, this feels like something that would happen in January for these people. But every film is with a different person from a different perspective in life of Wisconsin, or just you probably are thinking that this could happen to anybody at any time of the month. Things should go smoothly, but it's not. This happens and that happens. Like, oh, it's one of those days. So it's actually a very interesting project, and I believe the director, when he's got a lot of different interviews out there, it's like you can be guilty, or in a good guilty way. Watch your like Lucas, Spielbergs, all the greats out there, but then you find all these other guys. That's like, this is what films can sound and look like. Yes,
Kind of,
yes.
kind of, kind of like with the movie Heat. We go back to that one.
Oh,
Heat.
that. Oh, we're never gonna get another film like Heat again. I know they're trying to make. Was it a prequel to Heat with some of the greats, right? Like with Adam Driver, and then who else was that?
Adam Driver.
I
I feel
love
like
Adam Driver. He's a great actor.
I feel like he didn't deserve the hate because he tried. Like he
He tried
really
for Star
tried.
Wars. He did, and he
He
was
w-
good in the first movie. But then you watch stuff like with Marriage Stories and so many others after that. It's like, this guy's a great actor.
I saw
And
the
then
one where he was on where he was 45 BC. I think that where he's on a dinosaur planet. Uh,
oh, it's 65.
oh, thank you.
65.
Surprisingly, that was good. I was
Hmm.
shocked. I'm like,
I
because
heard mixed feelings, but I'm like, really? Okay, I might have to watch it.
like you could tell he
Sooner than-
improved. Like you could tell he improved. Like he improved. Like you could tell. Just watch some of the scenes. You could just see that like he's in his out. He's like getting into his element and everything. But with that said, like with Heat, with Casino, Goodfellas, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, um, Friday the 13th, and everything. Each movie is its own thing. All those movies are their own thing. And you watch all of them, and it's like, this is really good. Because it doesn't hurt to try to take something that's well known, like clowns, mobsters, um, all kinds. Heck, Big Trouble in Little China. really good with the Chinese mythology, with the Chinese mythology here and there, and everything else. Now, what this all means, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into our first one. Joker, this was so obvious from the get-go. You
It
know it.
was obvious.
You knew it. I knew it. The damn neighbors knew it. Everybody knew it. And yet, this goes to show the denial of like the dangerous denial of Disney right now. Let's see. uh where how do we do this? Rachel Zelliger's Snow White and Marvel's Captain America tank. Disney
Oh,
confirms. No surprise, but Disney officially confirms that Rachel Zelliger's Snow White and Marvel's Captain America Brave New World movies are big fails at the box office. No kidding. Can't figure it out. Movie theater bust. Too big to fail. Where have we heard that before? um
no. Essentially, they're trying to cover up or say that yes, right now Snow White was a flop, Captain Falcon was a flop. Sure, you had stuff like Inside Out. Like even go back, like what's it last year? Like it was like Moana 2 and Mufasa. Yeah, they may do well, but it's not the well enough that you're thinking. You have to remember when you're with a big corporation like WB, Paramount, Lionsgate, Disney, etc., they are going to be expecting big returns on big IPs. And it looks very bad on you when you're the House of Mounts, especially that, okay, people don't like these live action remakes, but they keep coming back to see them regardless. So they make money, millions, billions of dollars even at the box office. Even the crappy 2019 copy paste for paste movie, The Lion King, made money, even though I said no, I'm not going to see that movie. Yes, Mufasa made some money. It's a prequel, but it's not going to upset how much money you're losing. It's one thing to break the budget, but you got to remember you need money to, you know, pay the production costs. You need to make money that are for all these trailers you're putting out the door. Marketing costs. It needs to do much more. So it's not just need to make, oh, I just need to make 300 to 400 million. No, you need like 600, 700, 800 million for these films that are spending nearly $200 in production and not an additional 100 million, 150 million more when these films are coming at the door. So no wonder, Snow White failed. This movie was a curse from the start. I've heard so many different reports that came out, like when they were filming the movie, a set burned down. Thankfully, nobody was injured on the set, so that was a good thing. You have the very highly weird timing of Peter Dinklage in his interview about hiring people who are short and everything. So Disney fires a bunch of the people who were supposed to be the dwarves and replace them with 7 magical creatures or bandits who are still in the film, by the way. So it's like,
Hey
okay,
Edwin.
hey, Edwin's, and like everything I
Hey
saw
Alchemy.
from just the air quote first looks, like the costume didn't look right, but I'm like, but she's not on the actual set. She's just walking around, probably going to the next trailer to do hair and makeup, or it just doing a dress rehearsal. Then like almost everything I saw, it's just bad after bad. Reshooting the film a bunch of times. Her weird comments. So no wonder why this movie was going to fail. It was going to fail regardless. It just had bad luck after bad luck. And when it came out, it's like no one cared. Besides from people like us making content or the news saying, no, 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 it's doing well. It's another Disney live action remake. I think a lot of people are tired of seeing them. And I guess this was finally the camel that broke the straw's back because Disney are saying, yeah, it flopped big time for us. So no more. It's going to halt. But DreamWorks is going to do with How to Train Your Dragon. I don't even want to see How to Train Your Dragon. I don't want to see that remake by DreamWorks. I think it's unnecessary. Them even reporting from DreamWorks saying that, we didn't have to change the script that much, then why not release the damn movie again? Release the damn original movie and I'll be fine. Captain America, Captain Falcon flopping at the box office. That was nobody's surprise. Again, I love Anthony Mackie, I love Falcon, but when you don't have the best writers in the world, when even this movie's confused on like who's supposed to be the main villain, Mr. Blue again, but it's supposed to be all these guys who are named after serpents. We're not doing the whole serum thing. Even our report like 2 months back ago, a few months back, when we have Mackey's weird comment and then you have to clarify what he's actually saying. So it's like, oh, so that's what he's trying to say. No wonder why this film failed at the box office. Even when I saw the theater, when it failed at the box office, I just said, well, it's okay-ish, but it could be so much better. And when you're a movie number X, that people are just saying, well, it's okay, but just not as great as Phase 1 was, or Phase 2, Phase Three's movies. You're doing something wrong, especially when I continue to say, No Way Home continues to be, of the post-Endgame films, to be pretty good, along with Guardians Volume 3, and I'll give a credit to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. It was great to have Sam Raimi back in the director's chair, so felt very Sam Raimi-esque in that way. And that was his favorite character, so awesome. That was cool. But besides from those three, and okay, fine, I'll give credit to Wakanda Forever. I think that one, to me, I will continue to state, it was just a hard movie to make. I don't blame them at all. I'm glad they got out the door, and I'm like, there are moments where I kept nodding my head. I'm like, yeah, this was what I expected, but also out of respect for Chadwick, I think he knew it was hard as well, along with his family. So I can't blame Wakanda Forever, really. So that's one I'm willing to give the pass to as well. So no wonder why it failed. And when it failed, it's like, well, who do we blame? You can't blame anybody but what people are stating. Feige is just too busy. These films are just getting fatigued. And when you have to watch a bunch of films, it's like, oh, we have the Century from Eternals that nobody watched outside of me and several others. Unless people would just stay for the post-credit scene to see Thanos' brother. It's like, oh, they're doing that? They're doing Adamantium now? You have to watch Incredible Hulk to figure out that, oh yeah, that's the guy who was trying to cure him, but not really. No wonder why people are confused of your movies. And not to mention there's shows now they have to watch too. It's like, not the best idea to be Marvel right now. And now Feige really has to be in the producing chair to be like, all right, I'm watching everybody now because we're not making a lot of money these days as we used to. Our shows are all over the place as well. So no wonder why things are mishandled. That's what I'm going to call it. A lot of these films are just mishandled. Do I need another live action remake? No, no more. Go back to making small budget, medium sized films that could bring a lot of people back. I miss the days when Disney did tell based on true story events that you would be excited to see. It's Disney telling, with some fictional takes here and there on the accounts, it's a true story. I think those were great to see. I miss stuff when they were used to be creative on the creative side, or taking one of the rides and be like, hey, I think we can make a movie from this. Perhaps that's why I'm still excited to see the new Tron movie, but I'm very optimistic about that. So, but the budget's here, and them saying that it's flopping, but it's not offsetting anything, really makes you concerned that will Disney eventually sell off a few things? They won't, but will Disney finally get strict on more of their making movie side of things? I think they should get stricter. Because if you're losing money and money and money that are millions within millions, you need to do better. Because this
Exactly.
cannot keep happening.
Yeah, exactly. Because how much more money can Disney throw at the wall? Like here, money, go.
I
And
mean, it's not just Disney. It's other people too. But I'll let you finish first.
because and you are correct about a lot, like Spider-Man No Way Home, and of
A few
course
others.
and a few others.
No, I forgot
They
to mention Deadpool Wolverine. That was the most fun I had in a Marvel film. That
I
was the most
know
fun I
that's
had.
it was so much fun, and seeing everybody talk about it, having genuine conversations. You miss that because that's what it used to be about. Like
And
going
the
to the
cameos were
theater.
done better. Like it was
Exactly.
great to be like they kept them a surprise. Remember when cameos were surprise? It kept it very shh, don't tell anybody. It was nice to see, oh my god, it's Electrica. It's Jennifer. It's Jennifer all these years. Holy shit.
She still is a smokehouse. She's still a
She's a great
smokehouse.
Wesley Snipes Blade. I was like, oh my god.
He could still
It's
go. He could still
there's
go.
only
That's
ever
what's
gonna
so
be one Blade. You know, finally seeing Channing Tatum in the iconic, Gambit outfit. They went through 3 different directors for that movie. Never got made. It's like, it's finally Channing Tatum. Finally. A little weird in the costume, but he made it work. I'm glad he got to do it. And to see X-23 again, I was like, girl, there she is, X-23. It was nice to see her kick some ass again.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
and even Hugh saying when he met the actress again, it's like, well, you've gotten bigger since the last time. I'm like, you knew he
Oh,
was a good mentor to her. She was very good. So I was like, that's how it should be.
exactly.
And I missed
And
that stuff.
and if and in Snow White, in Snow White's case, I love the animation. We both talked about this and
Classic. It's
everything.
classic. You cannot
It's
classic.
a certified classic, and it's historical. It's historical backing too, because that was really the film that was a major success given the style of the art, the tone, the setting, the story, everything. And it goes to say that Disney did earn that place in the history books at that time. Now, if anything, um Rachel Zellweger should have been fired. She was a PR disaster after PR disaster, and she really sabotaged the entire movie. Because at first glance, it's like, oh, a Snow White action, live action movie. Okay, I can somewhat see that happen. Gal Gadot again.
Uh,
Costume was accurate. Costume was accurate.
but not the best acting direction to even acting. Even at her best, she's okay. But here, this is where you can really tell she's
Oh,
trying
it
her best,
was so
but
bad.
it's very poor. And I will defend her a little bit here and there, but even I can tell you, I cannot defend this. You need a better acting coach to just take a few more lessons. I know she can do it, but here, wow.
Exactly. And it was so bad. Like there were certain scenes where you could just tell. Like there were some scenes with her, you could just tell she was trying and everything, but it was falling flat. I'm like, oh, that did not come out right. And
Again, even the trailer, the iconic, what did you say? I'm like, oh,
oh,
I mean, if you
oh
just went, what? I would have been like, okay, that's not too bad. It's not, but it just kept going. What did you say? Like the what would have been what I would have emphasized. Like, what? I'm like, okay, then I would have been
exactly.
like, ooh, I would like, ooh, there we go. But no, it's like, but
Yeah, this
so
movie
what? This should have been a
suffers.
home run, but it's not. And again, why would you remake the most iconic film to start to the Disney animation and just be like updated for modern audience? Or as Rachel said, he's not going to be saved by the prince. I'm like, then you missed the point of the movie. I mean, we could be here forever, but it's another live action remake that failed. Again, I spent so long on Captain Falcon over here. It felt like, okay, but it's just a weaker version of Winter Soldier. And that's what I think Captain Falcon is. It's just a weaker version of Winter Soldier.
Basically, he's the bargain basement discount version.
The action felt lackluster. There's no real plot. You just go to scene. I'm like, I say there was only like maybe 1 to 2 scenes that were actually good. The actual prison scene with the old forgotten Captain America. That guy, oh my god, give credit to that actor. He actually was really good in a couple scenes. And that in that prison scene
I was
alone,
actually rooting for the bad guy. That's how bad it was.
like that guy was really good. I was like, damn, I'm like, this is starting to become like a comic book movie. I'm like, yeah, but then it was over. And I say the second good scene, it's in all the damn trailers. Red Hulk. Once Red Hulk was on screen, I'm like, about time. Here we go. A character I waited to see for a good while because of Hulk on the previous adaptations. I'm like, they need to do Red Hulk. And I'm still got to say it. You're dead, Mr. Mackey. You're dead. You're not surviving against Captain Hulk with all the vibranium. You're dead. You should be dead. You're dead. No, you're dead. But he's still alive. I'm like, how are you alive? You should be dead. But those are the only 2 good scenes I really liked in the movie. When Red Hulk is on the screen and then old Captain America. But this movie just did not, need to come out. We're told about
if you replace Captain America with Falcon, I think it would have been better.
I think if you replace Winter Soldier, I keep saying Bucky should have been Captain America. Has always been my strongest take. Bucky should have been the next Cap. It was right there for them, but nope.
Oh, that our poor Bucky. I could just see the comments coming in already. I could just see it.
Nobody cares about counter. And my problem with this, I do like Mackie as an actor. I've seen him in the projects; he's really good, but here, just not quite the Cap we were quite looking for. If they had better writers for this, and again, like if Feige was really attached to this, versus the reports we'd be kind of getting that he's been kind of hard to track down a bit. It's like, oh yeah, you can go with this. No wonder why, like I said, with it's not just Disney got to worry about, it's also Netflix. On the Netflix side of things, the Electric State failed horribly for them, even with the Russo brothers at the helm. $320 million budget spent on the Electric State, and hardly anybody watched it for Netflix. So I'm sure they were upset, like, we just spent $320 million on this film and nobody watched it. Didn't even break the top 10. Yikes. And with that failing, Feige's like, uh-oh, we just rehired them for Doom. Yikes. I need to keep an eye on them now. So no wonder why this is failing. Too much money is being spent. Hardly anybody's watching stuff. So, but
speaking of movies, Until Dawn, I was looking at the numbers.
I mean, it's a horror film. People are gonna watch it, even if they don't know it's based on.
It didn't have a good run, but I understand the why.
I think it's because Sinners is taking too much money away. I think that's the horror film our people are going to see a lot. And this being a video game adaptation, again, hardly anybody's going to see it. And even
because Minecraft just completely obliterated that field.
Of course, chicken jockey.
Yeah, in my humble opinion, Until Dawn should have waited
until October.
At least till October, where really where horror is at its best. But I felt bad for that movie. I felt so bad. But I agree though. But the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, Disney is just that one. Is just that one person who who's just sitting on the chair and the house is on fire. It's like, I'm okay. This is okay. This is okay. Meanwhile, we got all this stuff going on. And it's like, why? Why? Mackie and Allie cannot catch a break. Yep, I agree. They are very wasted there. They are so wasted by Disney. It's unapologetic. It's so criminal. And look, it's not Mackie's fault. And nor Ollie's fault. It's not their fault. It's just the direction of the thing. And now with Superman coming, the Fantastic Four coming, and now that we're past Thunderbolts, now I cannot believe we made it to that movie. I cannot believe we made that to at that point. Now it's up in the air of now we're back to square one, Joker. Well, we don't know.
We don't know. Like I'm still holding out for Superman. Like I want that to be successful. Fantastic Four, I have no hope. They tried so many times.
Even with the I would
it feels like they're
painfully
beating a dead horse. They want to get this family right, but every iteration just been failed attempt. So
I'm probably I'm probably gonna cut my own arm off and give it over and just go see it for the Galactus scene. Just for
and
that alone.
It's Ralph Eisen's Galactus. I'm like, oh no, could say just for Ralph Eisen, but I can't. But I think we stay on this topic too long enough, so
Yeah.
we gotta move on from this. But speaking of which, you know who else is still in a shithole right now? Crunchyroll. What did
Oh
they
yeah.
just say? Just
Oh.
shocked me. I'm like, well, not that surprising, but I'm still like, Bucket Janino? Are you an idiot? You host anime content on your site, and yet you say this. The irony in this statement right here, folks.
It's the cruelest form of irony because they don't know anime like myself, Joker, all our great friends, all of our amazing friends who have been in our circles and who we've interacted with in the last 30 odd years, respectively. It's just really really sad because uh this take is really really bad, and it's like, well, these people don't get it. They just don't understand why anime is so popular, why it's the highest talking point in any social circle in the know, and why it has lasting power for the last ever since the late 70 like late
Ever
early.
since the invasion happened, ever since like the anime invasion happened in the West, and people start to watch this stuff, like there's that connection between like, oh, it's kind of like some of them you're watching like Thundercats, TMNT, and then like the anime invasion, like indie stuff rising in the comic book industry. Anime fit that right niche audience at that right time when it's coming out, and you're getting stuff like it fit that right crowd what it needed to be, and throughout the years it slowly gained attractions at comic conventions, and then anime started getting their own conventions like anime exclusive, and then you see all these cosplayers, arts, and everything. It just grew and grew and grew with
There
time.
we go.
But this statement, some generations within our industry view anime as pornography. Former, what, what,
What?
And are
Oh,
we also forgetting that right now that Netflix probably has probably the best at the moment, some good live action anime on their site. So it's like, hey, this works, which only had the snowball effect of everybody trying to get their hands on get anime into live action. I know there's Amazon has a Hellsing anime coming. ABC's
oh,
working on a Claymore adaptation, which is very
wait,
bizarre.
Helsing?
Yes, as in that Hellsing.
Oh no!
But it's being written by the John Wick writer for chapters 1 to 3. So ooh.
Okay.
And
I
did you
can,
know that the John Wick writer?
I can live with that.
Also, here's a fun fact about the John Wick writer. He's from Wisconsin. So that should only encourage Wisconsin even more to, we could get some films made over here.
Agreed. Hey Neri, hey Outlaw.
Hey,
Hope you
Devil, what's up, man?
and Fire
But the
Devil.
statement and what they say in this interview is so head scratching.
That's like
So
saying
you
Marvel
host
Comics.
anime on your site and you call it, or say within our industry that views anime as pornography, gives them former Crunchyroll producer gives an insight to how. Are we sure Hollywood's feeling that stuff? Because anyway, forgive me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Crunchyroll still have Orimo on their site?
I think
All
they, I believe they do, and all the other
don't they?
ones too.
And then they used to have interspecies reviewers before
They
they,
did.
or
They
before
did.
they took it down. And it's like, no, it's not what you think. It's an elf. If they're gonna be, and don't they have a few other sites that Chibi reviews and a few others keep saying, they still have these questionable anime on their site? Don't they also have, oh, I don't know, High School DxD? Hmm,
Yeah,
hmm,
they
hmm.
do that.
They
They
have a lot of
do.
etchy on their site, was what you're saying, along with the typical shonen stuff like, oh, I don't know, like Fire Force that people complain about the comic all the time. Even though I have to say, you do know that's her lucky lecture. It's in the damn manga. Even she hates that it happens, but her whole character arc is accepting that side of her. Like she has to accept that this is a part of me. I'm always going to have this lecture, and I need to accept that, embrace it actually. So, isn't that quite interesting? Even her own powers and abilities get better. Hell, Tamaki is a sister. Yes, Tamaki is a sister. She goes through the training that Iris does because they needed another sister too, but also at the same time they knew Iris couldn't be there for like all the Infernal. So, and she does come from Company One, so she has her training from Company One. You need to become a complete sister. Hell, my favorite gag is that you see Sister Iris, reading her prayer book and everything, but here's the Kamiki, doing the written test, and on her forehead is this headband that says "Pass or else."
So
That's
basically, so basically to bring everybody up to a point in understanding in the simplest terms, a former industry person producer from Crunchyroll on an interview and says what's stated right there, and it's a genuine head scratcher because it's like it's a contradictional walk and everything, and it makes Crunchyroll look even worse in comparison. Because yes, we of all those animes we have mentioned and everything, it is contradicting this whole take, and it's like, yeah, you're not gonna walk this one backwards.
And Fire Devil
No.
also says this too. I guess Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball are pornography when they're action anime. I'm like, mm,
He Fire Devil
I mean,
does
fair
have
point. They
he
do
has
have
a
fan
point.
service.
They do
Dragon
have
Ball, look at Bulma with the bunny suit back in OG Dragon Ball era. Even look at
Bleach.
Master Roshi again, Perfect Sage for Naruto. Just saying, just saying.
You could make the argument, Black Lagoon. You could
Black
make the
Lagoon, yeah,
argument. You could make the argument.
it's there.
And
Oh, that's
what
thinking of
about
the bosses. Oh,
what
that's
about
seen.
Black Cat? Black Cat, the one we're
There's a few
watching right
stuff.
now.
There's a few stuff. But then again, these are action shonen. They're gonna have fan service. This is why people do the meme of going, "I don't want fan service in the anime." Then why are you watching Shonen Jump?
Right. Helsing too.
Helsing.
First
Ooh,
episode. The first episode.
right then and there. hmm So anyway,
They
let's read this article. What are they talking
yes.
about?
Yes. So, animation producer Marissa Balkus, credited for producing Onyx Equinox at Crunchyroll and overseeing Netflix animation slate of titles like Arcane Season 2 and Devil May Cry, spoke on the perception of anime within Hollywood. When asked whether there were common misconceptions, Balkus said, I think so. Yeah, I think there are still some generations within our industry that view anime as pornography or something weird, which is really unfortunate. Or there are just people who just associate anime with showing anime and whatever's coming out of Shonen Jump and nothing else. Which is really unfortunate because obviously there's every medium under the sun that anime offers. Yeah, I think those are the biggest misconceptions, or that anything that pertains to what women want to watch or consume has to involve magical girls in some way. Focus also shared how an influx of talent entered the animation space during the pandemic when filming shut down while animation production continued. Yeah, these yeses were definitely there, and it was also because there was a lot of talent that normally wouldn't play in that space who suddenly realized they could make a paycheck in animation and wanted to come into this space, which is not a bad thing. I actually think animation is a medium that anybody should play in, even if they come from live action. She wanted to describe the high profile, fancy schmancy who didn't have work and changed their initial projects to animated epics, later falling in love with the limitlessness of animation. Okay, I'll stop
Ooh,
right
that was a
there.
mouthful.
I'm
Ooh.
gonna stop right there. We're gonna go. We're gonna a
So
lot to
well,
talk about right there.
both she's both correct and a little bit of 50-50. Yes, there's still that outlook when you go, oh, you're watching anime again. Like I said with the meme, I don't. Why are you limiting yourself to like Shonen Jump? To be fair, you can still watch, or should we say, read Shonen Jump manga or watch the Shonen Jumps and manga that do get an anime adaptation. That is completely fine. Like we said, oh, I think it was Fatal who said this many live streams back and go, you can have someone who watches and only watches Yu Yu Hakusho for the rest of their life, and that's wonderful. That's great. Good for you. But as always, you can always branch out and be like, is there stuff similar to this, or can I get into other stuff? Again, wasn't the biggest slice of life guy out there, but thanks to Violet Evergarden, I'm trying to find a lot of stuff out there that's like Violet or similar to Violet, because I think the slice of life genre is really good. And it always says you have to be limited to just a few things. That's why I always say branch out, like expand a little bit. There's a
Yeah,
lot of cool shit out there.
that's why me and Joker are doing the watch parties, because not because of the wonderful people voting on it. It's because we're bringing in anime that is rarely talked about. A break from, like, because we could sit here and talk about
I
Dragon
mean,
Ball
we could
Z.
watch Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan. What else is right now? Fire Force. The list goes on, but the names I just mentioned, those are the big ones in shonen right now, or the were big in a few years back ago. Again, we could be doing that, but it's like let's branch it out. Let's make this a fun category. That's why we do the polls. We do the 3 rounds. Here's some that you might have watched back in the day, or maybe some new ones, but we're gonna mix it up a bit so things are still fresh, and be like, okay. When Black Cab won, I'm like, I always wanted to watch this, and so far it's been an interesting watch. I'm like, that's great, it's wonderful. I'm glad Black Cab won, and I know that one fan who really wanted the other anime to win when we had the Sonic one. I'm like, hey, if he's really dedicated to that one of these years we will watch it, hopefully, or I'll watch it on my own time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and and hey, Christian Freights, um, I think I did miss it. Post it again, post it again, Fire Devil. But you are correct though, Joker, and in here, she is. I will agree, she is slightly correct, but is going about it in a completely different way, because she is correct on there being a different there's every medium under the sun. She is correct about that. Like different flavors, different genres, different takes on certain things, different storytelling. There's that, and different themes. Like what are we going for? Like what's the anime watch party theme right now? What are we watching right now that is the theme going? Because we started with sci-fi, we got into classic we got into classic adventure with Sonic the Hedgehog, Sat-AM. We're now in the supernatural realm right now with Black Cat and the organizations and all that. There's a lot you can go through, and unfortunately, the problem is there are way too many short-sighted people who only see it for one thing. Now, granted, it's not entirely their fault, because not everybody has had that exposure like you, me, and many others have had. Because people, even though anime is mainstream now, people still roll their eyes like, "Oh my god, why the hell are you watching this?" Or what's the appeal? And it's a matter of it depends on who you ask. It greatly depends on who you ask, because you're gonna get a different answer every now and then. But my point is though, there are people who still, like, as the head scratching quote says, uh that's the thing, and to this day, we are still fighting tourists. We're still fighting these people because they always try to beat the dead horse and go after people like Chibi Reviews and, people like us over what we like and everything, and it's their problem. It's a more of a them problem. But in essence, though, what can you expect from this? Nice. Alrighty, so what's
Let's
going
see.
on?
I think that wants you to answer a question before I move on.
Oh, here it is. Batman got
Is that there's a game, Arkham. Oh, there's a game, Gotham Knights. That was all right, but the show itself, ooh, rough,
mm,
very rough.
yeah,
It
I
lasted
had
one season and was canceled.
there was no hope for that one. There was no hope. Um so continuing on. As for why Japanese anime resonates with people and its recent boom, Balk has credited the degree of sincerity in the emotions and journeys expressed by the characters. Contrasting this with trends in Western and particularly superhero stories that became too grimdark or undercut genuine emotional with a quip, the pandemic was also said to factor in, with people connecting online, and Bulk is praising long-running series and anime with assembled casts where fans could see themselves as friends with characters. The engagement seen at conventions through interactions and cosplay was also cited as something that gave the anime fandom an enduring quality. You could check out the full interview, blah, blah, blah. Bulkus shares her experiences as producer working on Onyx Equinox, moving to Netflix to oversee its large animation slate, departing Netflix in her current consultancy work at Culture Misfit. She also reveals that Crunchyroll surprisingly tried to bid for Splinter Cell and Captain Laserhawk, but was outbidded by Netflix on both occasions.
Which
That's
one's that again?
So real quick, guys. I'm gonna repeat this one more time for those who haven't heard it. Crunchyroll tried to bid for Splinter Cell and Captain Laserhawk, but got outbidded by Netflix.
So Adi Shanker's Captain Laserhawk could have been on Crunchyroll, which I would have been like, damn, I got to pay for that. Wow.
So
I mean, to me,
keep in
I
mind.
originally assumed. So here's my original assumption. I assume because Shanker's like, all right, I got to deal with Netflix with, Castlevania season 1 through 4. I'll just go back to them with Laserhawk. But I did not know that Crunchyroll was trying to bid for this as well. I'm like, wow, that would have changed a whole lot of things. Netflix does have some good cyberpunk anime and shows on their site, but like, wow, that's interesting. And I did not know Splinter Cell was also being like bit off as well. But again, when you're working with a company that has, a lot of money that Netflix does have to spend, like I said, they can spend around 320 million for the Electric State when they could be spending 320 million on smaller indie projects that in total get up to $320 million for all of them combined. So, wow. So to figure out that Crunchyroll missed out on two big, massive opportunities that could have brought a lot of people to their site, that's huge. That's huge. I'm like, wow. That's a little embarrassing, but also I think there's a reason why Crunchyroll's originals are both meh here and there right now, but why they're going all in on some of the Webtoon stuff or manhwa, like Solo Leveling right now. So that does make a lot of sense right now. Why they're really pushing Solo Leveling to be that big dick energy that they need right now for their site. That's huge.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna put Splinter Cell and Captain Laserhawk on the back burner for more updates on that. This is definitely something. It actually, we could probably call this a trend alert. We could call it a trend alert, or
I
whatever.
think we'll
We'll
call it a trend because definitely with Laserhawk, I definitely do want season 2 because how they ended season 1, I'm like, ooh, I would love to see what the story picks up from that point on. And with Splinter Cell, I'm still definitely waiting for an update on that at least. I know there's some images here and there we have. It's still in production, so hopefully we'll see it sooner than later. Hell,
because
we do.
I did enjoy the games.
I enjoyed a couple of them, so and I know Netflix has their To Dumb event at the end of the month, so I'm hoping it's there. I'm hoping it's there. It's a long overdue for an update.
Let me
But we're
see.
not going to talk about that part. But I think that goes to show you a lot of what's happening
Yeah,
with a lot of stuff.
because
It is a lot of bidding. You have to bid for this stuff if you want it on your site. You got to spend a lot, but how much you're bidding for could also shoot you in the back. Because during the whole, you remember Susie, the whole Susie controversy with watching anime on YouTube, and with the whole Patreon viewerships and everything. There was a voice actor who did speak out about this, and wonderful person, by the way. She's actually the female knight and Goblin Slayer. She's been around a lot recently. So, and her take on this: when you have to remember, even when you're dubbing, you still have to pay for the rights. So you're kind of trying to bid whoever you're going against. You get the rights, you dub it, but you may not make a profit right yet. Some of these series are one and dones, which is completely fine. Others, like a long running series, like take examples like Naruto, Chainsaw Man, Goblin Slayer, which thankfully we got our season 2. I'm hoping for season 3 as well. Some stuff might take a little bit longer to get, but when you're producing stuff and it's getting out the door, and you have like small channels or big, depending on who you are, are, in a way, watching the content on YouTube, have a Patreon and everything, like, and are getting money from these views, it's like, hey, that's disgusting. I know people say, but don't you guys have your watch parties? Here's the thing. We don't show the content on this channel versus everybody else who's going through the, I'm going to put it in air quotes, the legal way to stream it, as if they're trying to avoid the copyright. If you want to watch it with us, we'll give you a watch link when it happens, but it's
Exactly.
off YouTube, so we don't get hit. And if you do get hit, it's like, well, the watch parties are over. Yes, yes, these are reaction channels as well, but the thing is, it's reaction. You have to make sure you're in that very, very small, how small it's going to be, that legal definition of it's in fair use.
Mm-hmm. It's which is very, very hard to do because there's a lot out there, and with the way the YouTube algorithm is, the copyright thing and all that, the copyright claims, because they hit you on certain things, but they let everything else slide. Like my friend Big Angry Phil, he played a few Beavis and I think he got hit for the Chappelle clip that he played, but he didn't get hit for the Beavis and Butthead one he played. So it's a pick and choose. It's a pick and choose for YouTube.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, the Gotham Knight anime. Oh yes, that's the one I'm looking for. That is a movie series, an anthology movie series done by different studios, I believe they were. Yeah, there you go. Like Studio 4C, Production IG, B Train Production. Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's the Gotham Knights I'm looking for.
Okay,
That
Fire Devil.
one,
Sorry, we
not
got
the modern
we
one with the whole.
no, we got confused.
Thank you. When you said 2008, oh that one. Those are actually pretty good. I didn't watch all of them, but the ones I did, but the segments I did watch, they were pretty good. Actually, they were pretty good. I
Hey,
need to
Iron
finish that one
Inquisitor.
this year's.
Yes, indeed.
But
And
I think
also,
that just gives you the insight that even though yes, Netflix can make a lot of money or have the money to promote stuff, it's there. But like I said, like when I was talking about earlier before we went live, like cheaper reviews and like where he was noticing that animators from Wit, or when Moonrise was coming out, they were like promote the show. They were promoting the show. Netflix was slightly nowhere to be seen outside a few stuff here and there on social media, YouTube, and a few other platforms. But it's like you should promote this anime. It's coming out like now, like the matter of days. Like you need to promote it. It's like, ooh, yeah, you really should. There was stuff on the main channel as well, showing off Moonrise, but it's like on the main stuff, you really should promote it. Like really promote it. And that's the one thing I do dislike about Netflix when they do have anime content. Some of them do get promoted, but is it everything? Unless you're following, like, let's say the Netflix main account or the Netflix main account that they have with their anime content, you're not gonna be knowing a whole lot out there what's coming out. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, this is coming out. Thankfully, I had the reminder on the notifications to get on the app or elsewhere, but it's like, oh, they really should promote this. And yes, don't worry, elsewhere in some other countries, these anime content will do very well. They might be within the top 10, maybe the good solid 8, 7, 6, you name it. It might be there. It might be there. But definitely look at the mainstream side of things, I think. Well, besides, like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, like JoJo, and a few handful selection, there aren't gonna be like it will depend on the show. Like Devil May Cry got up to the top 3 at least, so I'm like, obviously that secured itself a spot for season 2. JoJo at least got within the top 10 at least for Stone Ocean when all the parts were coming out. So I was like, I was thankful for that, and I can pretty much make it a safe assumption that Netflix might get part 7, which I will be completely fine with. if they get Steel Ball Run. I'll be fine with that. Will definitely be fine with that. But I think that really just goes to show you that yes, you may have a site like Crunchyroll that will promote the next anime heavily compared to Netflix, who will still do it, but not a whole lot of people will notice it's coming out. Hell, I remember just promoting the crap out of Stone Ocean when that was coming out because someone messed up. Someone truly did, and they should have been promoting it. And you can't always rely on people like me and a few others who might be bigger than me to promote your material. You have to promote it. And thankfully, Moonrise was able to find the right audience because there was a lot of people talking about stuff here and there on my timeline that I was able to see. So thankfully, I got the hands to the right people. So Netflix, to me, if any Netflix employees are watching this, do better. Please do better. If you got time to promote the other stuff, please promote your anime content, please. Heck, there's even a few of them that were on their site that I was able to find, like Rosario Vampire, that I became a huge fan of before I got the manga. Even their old content, like Freezing, which was on that site, became a fan of Freezing. I got into Ikitusen because of Netflix before that was removed from the site. Even good old Berserk, thank you Netflix for having the Golden Age arc movie, so that was really cool. So that's how you get into stuff.
Exactly that, because that's how you get into all of this. But Hollywood is
Hollywood.
still is still Hollywood. No matter what the circumstances are, there are still going to be those who will see it as this, that, and the other, and it's unfortunate because Battle Angel Alita did really well. The Sonic movie did well. Mario did well, and um the
Yes, Minecraft will do well.
Haran, what was that one anime that recently won an award that uh the one it was a
Boy
meet
and the
the meet.
Heron.
Thank you. Yes,
Boy and the Heron
that
won the
one.
Oscars for the second Ghibli win ever, so that was huge. Godzilla minus one did numbers here in the West. Like it did numbers. And hell, even the fun fact for this one, it was almost removed from theaters after that 1 week of showing, but there were so many people who saw it and then, were telling people, you guys need to see this movie now, but Toho was about to remove it. But everybody, thanks to the power of social media, there was the hashtag of, Godzilla minus one. I think they were even adding at them a little bit. It's like, hey, extend the runtime. Like, I want to see this on the big screen. Even my good friend Chris on Twitter, he saw it. I was like, man, I can't wait to see it. But I almost didn't have that window to see it. So I was with everybody. We need to tell them, please, please, please promote this movie, extend the run. And what happened shortly after? They announced we will extend the theatrical run. And there it was in my theater the next day. I was like, yes. I was like, yes,
Hey
yes.
Lilith, welcome.
And I remember taking a few friends to that. One of them told me, did you know this in Japanese? I'm like, I knew it was. But even we said at the end of this movie, it's like, this was amazing. This was amazing. That's the power of people. That's how you win these companies over. When they got something good, you should do it. Now, thankfully, something that is good that I have waited at least a good while, at least. I waited a good while for this to come out. And I'm like, and I'm very happy that this is finally coming up. We're finally getting a new trailer for the Old Guard 2. So, for those who don't know what this movie is about, think of what these guys are. They're like slightly immortal. They cannot die and they heal fast. So, kind of
Yay.
like Deadpool, Wolverine with these healing factors, but they kind of go through some different time periods. You'll see them in the comic book run, at least one you can see from the photos or images I've seen a little bit from the comics. Some of them are more in period accurate clothing and everything. But the thing about them, unlike Wolverine and Deadpool, who may not care, oh, go ahead, take my photo, they're actually a little bit more sensitive if their identities get out there. So I'm like, ooh, this is cool. Obviously, you got Charlize Theron, one of my favorite action stars. She's in it. Thank God she was in it. And when this movie first originally came out, this was actually during the lockdowns, actually. So this is when, oh, well, everybody was looking for stuff to watch online. Like, we need stuff to watch. And I watch it. It's a solid B story. There's a lot of some decent action here and there. What I call the action mind blowing, no. It was like, it's decent. It's got done, but I'm excited. Old Guard was a good movie. You want a good, fun, decent time? This is a good film. I mean, it's not insultingly bad, but it's pretty good to watch. Want something quick and done? Old Guard is a good way to do it. So I'm excited to see too. It's been a good while, so
Hey,
I'm
Trollmonger.
hoping whatever's in that trailer tomorrow, it's gonna wow me, and I go, yes, this is what I
Ooh,
want to
oh,
always
tomorrow.
to be.
Oh, I'll have to watch that trailer then. And guess what, Joker? I am off tomorrow, so
So,
yay! So I can actually go and actually sit down and watch it rather than have to wait to come home to watch it.
so yeah, it's a good thing. So
Let's see. It's called
it,
The Old Guard 2 on Net. Okay, I'll check that out.
it
I
was a good
will.
movie. I liked it for the most part. I'm like, hey, that was pretty good. I'm like, so to me, I'm excited for this. So, been a long time coming, but I'm hoping that it's worth it because, oof, God, I gotta look. It was a good film. It's a good run. It was a good run. So that was good.
Alrighty, Joker. Let's see. Uh, how? So for those who don't know, apparently Hideo Kojima, the legendary creator, creator director
The
of Metal.
multi-talented Hideo Kojima, creator of the Metal Gear franchise, Death Stranding, and he's working on a new project as always. He's got to work on the stuff that he has with the Xbox. He's got to work on Death Stranding 2 for Sony and whatever else his spy thriller might be for Sony as well. Because you do see him with the Columbia production company. So I'm like, oh, so he's working on something again for Sony. The man does not sleep,
The man doesn't sleep.
but
He
that's also a good thing because I think he's is talented enough that, like, yeah, when you're working with one of the big talents, you are allowed to do whatever you want, and if your name is attracting a lot of Hollywood people, you might as well do it. So apparently, he's working on a brand new horror visual novel by the legendary manga horror author Junji Ito, which I'm like, oh my god, do you know what this means for us horror fans? Do you know what this means at all?
it's huge. It's gonna. I can't find the words to put together on this
It's
magnitude.
also a blessing and a comeback because these two were originally, along with Guillermo del Toro, were a part of and with Norman Reedus, if you're putting the picture together, of the canceled Silent Hills PS4 title. I'm
Oh,
not joking.
I remember
Yes,
that.
all
I
four of
remember
them,
that mess. I
Kojima,
remember.
Norman, Guillermo, and Junji Ito by Del Toro, in an interview, when asked a question, he said Junji Ito was involved with the project. So it's like, oh my god, you know how massive that game would have been if we got Kojima's vision out the door? Would have been massive. But to hear he's working with Junji Ito again, it's like, bless your soul. Bless these two gentlemen. They're finally working together again. And this image is from one of my favorite, Uzumaki. I mean, look at this thing. Look at that creation. It's beautiful. It's hand drawn. It's beautiful. And in the first episode of the horribly faded Uzumaki anime, this is one of the only episode I gotta see this thing animated. It was beautifully animated. I was like, oh my god, it's amazing when they animated the sequence. I knew it had to be animated, and it was beautiful. It's amazing. I'm like, I didn't need to see anything else, but they animated the eyeball sequence. It was amazing. But since this is still in like the early news, we still have years for this to come out. Obviously, Death Stranding 2 is out this year. Or is it next year? I think it's this year. So once that's done, he'll probably just continue to work with Jordan Peele with the Xbox game. Some people speculate it might be Silent Hills or another something that's horror related or whatever he's working on. But to hear that he's working with Junji Ito again is amazing. So we'll just have to wait and see what this horror visual novel or this visual book project is going to be. So I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool. If he wants to delve into more other stuff, that's fine. Go for it.
And also, Kojima is at that stage in his life where he can do whatever he wants, no matter what it is, and has the time and patience to do it. I mean, after what Konami did to him, and I still think he should have really beat the bricks off of them. In my honest opinion, Kojima is doing far better off than I imagined because I was really worried about him. I'm like, he's Kojima. And then when I saw his successes going, I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing good for himself. He has connections still, which is great to have. Like you mentioned, he's one of those top tier artists, directors, and everything that's out there, and the connections that he has is limitless. Hell, he could sign on to a Silent Hill mini series and would still be good. Could do that. But
well, with Konami with Silent Hills right now, it's a little weird. But the whole live service, whatever the hell they did with that mobile browser thing, that was trash.
oh
The
god,
remake to 2, I've heard nothing but a lot of positives. I'm still skeptical since I prefer the original Silent Hills 2. That's just my opinion. I do want Transmission. Was it Transmission?
I think it was.
Whatever that's coming out.
Yeah, I think it was Transmission.
Like a good anthology series, like kind of like make that like a Silent Hill meets a David Lynch style of Silent Hills, or like their take of Silent Hill meets American Horror Story, the good seasons of American Horror Story at least, because I think that has a lot of potential to be cool. And with Silent Hills F, I already know the actual title. It's called Silent Hills Fortissimo. That will be great because it's by the guy who did the When They Cry series. So holy shit, that's a big name attached to that.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know what I'm not excited about? Oh god, I gotta do another downer for you. I gotta ask the question. Who's responsible for this? Like, who's responsible? I gotta ask the question, folks. Who is responsible for this? So they can't escape the curse after all. Yes, there's an English version adaptation of Kakegurui titled Bet. And the only one that looks good is Yumiko, and I can easily tell this is Yumiko.
That is Yumiko. That is Yumiko.
That so is Yumiko her. Looks all right. It's not too bad. It's an English language adaptation, so I'm like, of course, it's not going to be the Japanese setting. It's an English language adaptation. They want to be more European-ish. That's fine. I'm fine with that. If they make the school cool, that's fine. If they can nail some of the characters correctly, I'll be fine. But you know this. They didn't. Behold,
oh Jesus fucking Christ!
What did they do?
What the?
You're telling me this is the main villain cast? She's got the right lipstick, but her eyebrows aren't blue either. Or she's supposed to have more blue on her. This is the more crazy one out of the bunch. The eye patch should be on the left side. Where's the gun? Like she's supposed to have her gun on her all the time, but where is that? You're telling me this is the sister? Like in the manga and anime, this is the sisters to, I believe, to the main one over here, but she has a face mask on. She's supposed to have a mask on, like an actual mask on her.
Yes,
And
he
she's supposed to be
does.
another blonde. Oh, and
Uh
by the way, this is supposed to be the gremlin, the one that Kaylee Mills voices.
oh my
She's supposed
god.
to have the orange jacket sweater on. They got with the bunny ears. I'm like, but
Well,
wow,
they got. Oh my god. Wait
this
a minute.
does
Is
not
that
look
a
good at all. And I
Joker
don't know. It's supposed
Joker
to be the
immersion
male. I
break?
don't know, but I think so. But this does not look good.
I see an immersion break. Go back. I see an immersion break.
What, the cell phone?
The cell phone. That's immersion breaker. Immersion. You broke it.
Not really for me at least. It's an English language adaptation, so I expect someone to have the cell phone. This person better be playing games on the phone. They'll be like, okay, they're playing games.
Oh, okay. If it has a
But
purpose,
but,
that's
but
one
where's the
thing.
sucker? She's supposed to have a sucker, like from time to time.
Yes.
Like, where's the sucker? Where's the lollipop? Come on, where is it? But you know what makes me a little bit more Now here's the thing. The actor's probably gonna do a good job. This is probably the main male protagonist. He's gonna do fine. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But there's an irony to this. In the first episode, first manga chapter, he gets in a bet with the other blonde. Oh my god!
Not Mary. Not Mary.
Yeah,
There's
it is
the.
Mary. It is Mary.
Oh, it is Mary.
He gets into the bet with Mary. He loses and everything, and she's like, "You owe me this amount of money," and he's like, "I can't pay you." And remember, in the school system, if you lose and you can't play, guys have to wear the dog tag, girls have to wear the cat tag. Kitten, mitten.
Yep.
You're already seeing the irony in here. The uh-oh.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh
he loses, gets
no.
the dog tag, and don't forget, Marin does use him as a foot. Was it a footstool or just a chair? So
No.
this
She
goes as a
uses them as
ooh.
footstools. She uses them as
So
footstools.
this is a big, huge ooh.
Oh no, this is gonna
There's
plummet.
gonna be a lot of controversy on the first episode
Now
alone.
look,
Here's the
look
thing.
here.
I have respect for this actor right away. You get my sympathy. Maybe he knew he was getting into it.
It's not a matter of, and I can
They'll
hear,
probably change it too.
I can already hear the people going, "Oh my god, you're racist!" Blah 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 blah. It's like, look, we have nothing against the actors or actresses for the most part. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. What bugs me is what we just stated, and both me and Joker have seen the anime and read the manga, so we know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
We already know how this is gonna go, and we're gonna leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look,
I mean, here's the Japanese adaptation right here. So, like, that's
see,
too bad.
this is how I imagined this. Then I would go, and I might, and hats off to everybody here, because
They at
oh
least
yeah,
looked the part.
see,
They at least got it right.
see,
There's
there
the
we
gun.
go.
Now this is
Oh,
much better.
oh.
What happened?
Look where the gun is pointing, and you'll know.
Oh, the head. Well, that's also the way in the manga and anime as well. So this is
Okay,
very
YouTube,
yeah.
this is just a screenshot.
It's also a prop gun.
We're not. It's a prop gun. We're not condoning any of this.
Heck, you can
Nor,
actually tell it's a prop because it does bend. Look where it bends. See, look.
yeah, that's where it bends.
You're fine. You're fine, YouTube. You're fine.
We're just
for
stating
me,
obvious.
So for me, it's weird they are adapting Kagegurui, but if it works in Japanese, it should work in English adaptation. Now, I wouldn't mind an English adaptation at all. I would love to see how we handle some of their commentary on a few things of the school system, the hierarchy in the schools, with all the beddings, but the casting choice with their to me, it's the costumes. These are not the right costumes, but it's supposed to be an English language adapt. If they were more accurate to the characters, I would have been fine with it. Kind of like how Devil May Cry, at least in the current anime adaptations, they at least start in their younger years, where Dante doesn't quite have the long hair. There's no Ebony Ivory, but he's got the right color scheme on. It looks like a younger Dante in the Tony Redgrave era, so that's completely fine. And then season 2, if you watch the music video for the band that came out, you do see now he's more in the accurate DMC1 outfit. It's like he's got the long hair. The jacket's much better. It's like this is now Dante. But the live action cast for Ben, I'm like, no. Again, Yumiko is probably the only one I say, yeah, she's close enough. She's close enough. She'll probably do a good job, but yikes, no thank you. If I'm gonna watch Kageyuri, I'd rather watch the anime again. I'd rather watch spin-off Twins. Or if you do want to watch a live adaptation,
I do. I do have the anime version of Kakegurui. Still figuring out the Blu-ray issue and everything. Still figuring that out, but that's another topic for another time. But I do have it.
Is it a nun, Devil? Is it a nun? Is it a nun? I thought. Is it a nun? Is it a nun? The main antagonist in Kageyuri is a nun. Is it?
Wait.
Is it? I thought it was. I thought she wasn't a nun. Is it a nun?
Fire Devil, back up here. Get
Is it a nun? Is it?
Are we?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
But if you're saying the English one looks like a nun, I'm like,
you're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen. I look, as we stated, nothing against the actors or actresses. Nothing against them. We'll see how it goes. We'll just wait and see. And then we'll give our final opinion on it.
Again, they nailed the One Piece characters so wonderful and well. And I think that's because Oda Sensei was on the project, and it's like it's going to be faithful.
There's a difference.
Wrote it down. It must be faithful. I mean, that should be the way it goes. I know people are going to complain about the cast of VV for season 2, but to be fair, they're in the desert climate, so it makes sense for VV to have a little more darker skin tone. Just saying, folks. And look what the country's based on. So, and if the actors can nail Vivi, I'll be perfect. I'll be fine.
It'll be fine. We're not going to worry.
Good job. I know she will. But anyway, let's move on to something more positive for a change. So, you like turn-based?
Oh,
no, you're good, Devil. You're good. Like turn-based?
Let's see.
Everybody's been praising for Expedition 33. A game I need to get my hands on shortly.
Expedition 33. I've seen a few of our mutuals play it. I heard it was really good.
Apparently, the writers off Reddit, the composer is from Sound, on streaming sites who's posting music to streaming. The main director of this game said it would take him at least 25 years working at Ubisoft just to even get a pitch, but they might reject it. So no wonder why he left. It's like, I'm just gonna leave, do my own thing, take me with me and some juniors, 30 to 33 man development team. Multiple years later, people are talking about turn-based again for the third time in a row. I mean, the Yakuza 7 and 8 are turn-based now games. You have Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year, so I guess people like the D&D style of turn-based. being the dungeon master. So impressive, very impressive. You have Expedition 33 winning, just is a solid year contender for turn based, and yet people are always talking about, is turn based back? I think turn based has always been around. When you
Yeah,
look at a lot of genres, they've always been around. But not for
my
you, for a lot of people.
I've also I've also I've also been playing a very obscure turn-based game called Cartia, the Word of Fate for the
Hmm.
PS1. Very I had that game and I remember playing a bit of it. Joker, when I played it again, I felt like I was back in my in the living room at the Las Vegas apartment that me, my late mom, and my sister had growing up in the late 2000s. I felt like I was back there again. And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, why we love this stuff. It brings us back to when we first experienced it, but off but I'm getting off topic. So, what's this all entail, ladies and gentlemen? Well, apparently we love turn base,
You're fine, Dylan.
but what's going on with the and this is from he homeboy at dream from the Twitter of he homeboy with the success of Claire Obscure. I wanted to mention that the horror JRPG Pennyblood, the spiritual successor of the famed Shadowheart series, still struggles to find a publisher to fund the game despite a I said sexy. I cannot believe I said that. A successful Kickstarter showing people want more games like this.
And I think that does bring, like I said, that good discussion. Like, you know, like, dude, that looks sick. Dude, that was sick right there.
Ooh.
Ooh, I love. Ooh, that's a really cool style right there. Ooh,
Oh, I love that style.
does remind
I,
me of like JoJo when Araki was getting to that art style with Part 4 being more fashion and beauty. But this looks cool. And the reason why
Look
I
at the
said what's
title.
your favorite genre, like turn based is coming back. I think with a lot of these games that are coming out that like people are rediscovering or bringing the general discussion of turn based. I mean, Expedition within the first week, 500K copies. 500K is like, wow. Right now, they're at 2 million copies sold. It's like, wow. I mean, they had to go print more because people were buying the stocks. They were out of stock. So it's like, yikes. So you know you're doing well when you run out and it's like, oh, we gotta go print more. But I think the reason, like, even before we started chat, I was talking to Anime, and like, there's some genres I don't like. I'm not too big on fighting. I can admire them from a distance, but I'm not the biggest fighting game aficionado. Maybe I just don't have time to learn the controls or just be quite get in depth to all the different characters, moveset and whatnot. I know I got a really nice coworker of mine. We've tried a few different genres here and there. I'd have played with him for a bit, but I'm like, from time to time, remind him, I'm like, I'm not that big on fighting games, but when I do win against him, it does feel exciting. But I also have told him that, like, if you're really good at these fighting games, you should kind of come down to a couple conventions and then even just for a day and a half, just compete in these tournaments and then go home, see if you can win a
Mhm.
prize for a couple.
Actually, the pinball one I partook last year, I was in the semifinals,
Ooh, nice.
but I lost. I lost
Oh,
to one other player. I was in 4th place.
ooh, that
4th
close.
place. And I saw the trophies, and you know what, Joker? I was willing to win the 3rd place trophy. I was willing to win it. It may not be as big and grand as the 2nd and 1st place, but it's something. It has meaning to it. It would have meaning to it. But I took my loss. I shook the other guy. I shook the other guy's hand, wished him luck, and thanked him, and left. But I had fun. But you're right though. Turn base. I feel like turn base is making a comeback as well because we just had we had Aliens Dark Descent, didn't we? We had Aliens Dark
Yes,
Descent.
that was one of them as well.
So I am seeing some comebacks here and there of turn-based, and this one looks really good. I
And the
mean,
fact they can't quite find a publisher makes me sad because I want to play this.
because look at that. That is speaking to me right here. The guy holding the chick, the augmented the augmented monster behind him glaring at somebody like, "What have you done?" I want to know what happened here. And then
Even though
with
this
this,
does remind me of JoJo when Araki was getting to that wonderful art
this
style
is what
he's
it,
now
yeah,
known for.
right.
Like
This is
this would
what it
fit
reminds.
JoJo perfectly.
And with this and everything, I want to know the interaction with this. And of
Like
course,
even this was
this
like,
whole,
ooh shit, this looks cool.
for turn-based games, they really bring out like the effects, the visual effects, the cutscene, everything. They bring it. Like they bring it.
To me, it's also that's what we call it's an art form. Like for example, turn based, they do all these wonderful stuff, and it's like this is so cool and amazing. Like they take
Like look at
things
the
up
look,
to a notch and whatnot. Yes, we still have stuff like the Mega 10 franchise with SMT, Persona, Digital Devil Saga, whatnot. Those are still around, but they really do bring it up a notch. Like it's an art form that's like it's turn based. We gotta stick out. Like what do you do? It's about strategizing correctly. Who do you get out there? But to me, I think my favorite Lost Film art that should make a comeback. I think they are really trying to. Is the actual fixed camera angle for survival horror. Those are its own shape or form of art form placing the camera correctly. Like even take classic Resident Evil 2, where the shot of Leon is outside the prison. No, when you're still in the police department, but you see that shot where he's walking, but you're following him outside of the window. Like, or he's just like, is that Mr. X looking at him? Is that a zombie looking at him? That will always be a cool shot. I'm like, dude, that is so cool. And even this, like setting up the battle, look at these menus, look at the UI. I'm like, damn, I want to play this. I want to
exactly.
play this.
Plus,
I can just hear
going
the
back
back.
to this,
I can just picture the background music right now in my head. I'm like, this is gonna be cool. But the
it
fact you can't find a publisher is disappointing. But also,
it
it's like
is.
release it, release it.
Release it.
Go,
And
go.
be. Oh, go ahead.
Like whoever did Expedition 33, why don't you pitch it to them? And be like, we could do something with this.
This screams money, ladies and gentlemen. This is money, easy money.
And like we said, I want to play this, but there's also a lot of stuff that does come out that don't get published. But I think with the whole turn based making a comeback, there's been a lot more talks about there's been stuff that's been released here in the West that people don't play, like Lost Odyssey by the original founder of Final Fantasy. Did you know that was a highly cinematic turn based JRPG?
Yeah.
And it's a game that I always kept looking at my local family video, never picked it up. When I saw like the first big cutscene and everything, this big battle, I'm like, wait a second, you tell me this right here. Back in the day, during like the early to mid Xbox 360 launch titles, this right here, always the start of the Xbox 360, was able to combine both gameplays and cinematic seamlessly in a cutscene, like actually matching stuff correctly. I was like, wow, that was cool actually. To see all the different technologies that work around, it's like, dude, this is crazy. This is cool. And I wish I had the damn game to play it, but I'm like, damn, maybe we need to get on that. Like, this is why we say back catalogs are important these days. So if there's something that you've been wanting to play, go for it. And if you love 33 right now, go play some great turn-based games you could be playing right now. Like,
and
keep the conversation going, keep it alive. That's what a lot of us are talking about these days. Keep it alive, keep it going.
this tweet right here says a lot. It says, how sad is it that we can have incredible successes, undeniably proving people are always thirsting for more, and yet publishers don't want to spend a cent to fund unique JRPGs with unique concepts that are made in Japan, no less. And he is not wrong. Homeboy is not wrong. You can have like a very powerful turn-based game that sparks millions of dollars, has the public by storm and everything, yet they don't want to focus on like Ruby Riot and the mystical medallion of time.
But I think there's that too as well. But you also got to remember that there's, like I said, there's audiences for everybody. I mean, like people said that are it's like Square Enix panicking because like, oh no, like I think Square is still gonna look at this and be like, maybe we should make some more. Like, oh wait, they do have stuff that is turn based, like Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, and a few others. I'm like, so it's out there. But do those games sell as well? They sell, but how many them are like at this level? It's there. It is there, folks. Very much there. But does that mean that we should go make Final Fantasy 17 turn based? Let that be up to the developers. If they want to go back to turn based, go to turn based. They want to have another action oriented adventure game like Devil May Cry style, go for it. But it's up to the consumer. Like even was it Midgard Studios? Their very first game they ever made was turn based. Didn't get far into it, but I'm like, yeah, I can see this is turn based. That's fine. And now the next one is more action oriented. Completely fine. Even what was it? Oh my god, hold on a second. I know it's here somewhere. I know it's.
Oh yeah.
I know the game's here somewhere. Oh my god, what was it again?
Take your time, Joker. You got this.
Almost. There we go. There we go. The Altair series. For the very long time, that was turn-based. Very much a long time, it was turn-based. But the brand new game that came out is now the very first game in the series to be action-oriented. Not full-blown. Well, I need to play the game, but they said because how success the trilogy was for the last main protagonist was, they said because we got enough money now, we can do action. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool actually. That's really nice to know actually. But with that success, I hope more people can find different genres out there. Like I said, if your catalog is full, go out there, go find some stuff. You never know what you're
Exactly.
gonna like until you try it at least. So go for it. Take a risk.
Uh, Joker, the our next topic is about Rust, but unfortunately, the one you sent me, from the New York toilet paper, it's doing that stupid thing where you gotta create a free account to read the article.
Oh,
See, and that's
well,
why
I
I call
think
it the New York. That's why I call it the New York toilet paper, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I call
mm,
it because
well, I think even though we're not going to have the article, here's what happened. The timeline events is really muggy and cloudy, but y'all know about the horrific, very much the. Take a moment of silence right now. You pay our respects to the cinematographer. A moment of silence, please, folks. A moment of silence. Thank you. There was that very much horrific incident shooting, accidental shooting, that we have not even seen or even been heard about since the Brandon Lee incident during the filming of The Crow. That's how long it's been since then. This movie was being filmed, very low budget. Unfortunately, there's a lot of crazy events that happen. We're talking about like where the staffs were located. We're talking about like the actual filming of this. I've been told by different outlets and like looking stuff up online that it was not a very good set to be on or filming. We had people that were leaving saying this ain't worth it. I'm just gonna leave, leading to a lot of young, inexperienced people working on this project. And what happened is that I'm going to say it. How does a actual live bullet get into a prop gun? How? How does that happen?
Exactly. That's the same thing with with Brandon Lee. With Brandon Lee,
I know
because
they were experimenting with different bullets, but the weapon expert left early, and unfortunately, they didn't check it when he left. You get the full force of a bullet, or should I say, the impact of the bullet. They tried to save him, but no, he sadly.
and we have had a lot of investigations, and film's armorer, Hannah Gilchrist Reed, is serving prison time for involuntary manslaughter. First director David Halls pleaded no
Not to
contest
mention the
to
first one. He did get a lesser sentence, but it's still. I'm no. I'm, but he has
uh,
a lot of. It, there's a lot of people in here. We could list them all off, but some of them are paying for the crimes. Others got lucky. I'll say that they got very lucky.
yeah, and apparently Helena Hutchins' family in Ukraine, they're not happy about that release. They didn't want that to be. I don't think they wanted that to be released, from what
I
I've
think a
heard.
big thing they did not want to be released. I honestly felt like this film was just not going to be completed because when you have an incident like this, it's like you have a choice: do you complete the darn movie, or do you just leave it unfinished? The Crow could have been left unfinished, but since they only had a few more days of shooting left, it's like let's just finish it. Like all the main scenes were done with Lee, so that's why the stunt double took over for some of the shots. That obviously one of them you could tell that okay that's a stunt man, that's not Brandon Lee, but then you also tell that some of these kind of look convincing with some of the digital effects that they had available at the time. It's like some of it did look really convincing. Like, is that still Lee or is that still the stunt double?
Hmm.
Some of them did convince you really well. So I felt like one or two of them, like, okay, that's a little bit of the double because they shot it from the back for a couple. I'm like, okay, that could be the double. But one of them was like, wow, that's really good. And I know that last sequence with Lee was heartbreaking to watch actually. But knowing that his the actress who played his girlfriend in that film, forgave him, I just felt like, oh, that hits you right then there when you know the tragic events. But the fact that this film was complete is one thing. I know, what was it? E.T. did report, I think it was last year, that the husband was okay to release it or like to finish filming at least, but I think the releasing part is news to me because I'm like they're gonna release this film, and obviously right now it is out in theaters or some of them under a limited run, but I think it's just due to a lot of the bad press, the horrific incident. This tragedy should never have happened. Again, how does that prop even have is loaded with an actual round? There was reports by even some of the people who were working on this film saying that, hey, this prop is not
Up to
workable.
code.
It's bad. It's not up to code. We need to follow the procedures. So, but they still use it still. I'm like, why? Why? So it's just a lot of. It's a subject that's very hard to talk about, but it's something that's like we thought, let's just bring it out. Like I saw this is still in theaters, or not in my theaters, but it's in some theaters. So it's like it's out. But unfortunately, it's like I can't do anything about this. I know the main director in an interview that I did see actually that I think I can actually find it right here very quickly. That I think even He's a little. He kind of. This is Alec Baldwin in this reality show, but I think even he's very much guilty by simply stating that I should never written the damn movie. I think when that really gets to you, you start to think, damn, he wishes he didn't run the damn movie in the first place. I think that gets you right here because it is his movie, but unfortunately, it's like,
Oh, I
there's a lot of guilt in there. Go away, you stupid ads.
yeah. Russ director regrets movie. This is Alec Baldwin's reality show, as he should. Bad decision after bad decision was made. Uh, let's see. And the Western's writer director Joe Souza has complicated thoughts on his creation, given that the death of the movie's cinematographer Helena Hutchins, who was actually shot in 2021 by film star Alec Baldwin. After much debate, Souza and the cast and crew returned to finish the film. Hutchins' family wanted it completed. I'd been repelled by the thought of going back, but then it started to appeal, and I couldn't live with the idea of someone else doing it. Complicated reports here. Did the family want to have it made, or did they want it finished? It's
I
hard to
think this
tell,
is more
ladies
we
and
can say.
gentlemen.
It's hard to tell when it's kind of muddy. I know the husband was interviewed for ET. Obviously, I can't find that or even show it because it's ET. So
Yeah,
So
it's like
I think you could say that maybe they wanted the film to just finish the movie, maybe not release it.
kind of reminds me. This kind of reminds me of Over the Edge in 1999, with Owen Hart's death and that whole story. And they still continued the show. Kind of like that, basically. Oh yeah, that's the one. You know what? Baldwin deserved every criticism levied at him over this whole thing. But seriously, though, it was such a tragedy, and it could have been prevented. But the film is out, unfortunately, and Baldwin is still. I don't know what to say about him, about that creature, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there is only so much that me and Joker and everybody else can report on when it comes to subjects like this and who says what and everything. It's kind of hard to tell if her family wanted the movie finished or didn't want the movie finished. It's hard to tell in the mindset of a grieving family on tragedies like
I
this.
know, and like I said, I keep bringing up ET because one time during dinner I did see the husband on ET, so I did get a chance to interview him. So so the film's being completed. I think he said yes, the film is being completed. So it came straight from the husband that yes, the film will continue filming. But this is also one of those films that when it's being completed, it's just a lot of just get it done. But the fact that it's even out to me, it does shock me that it's out. But I'm like, okay, I can still at least see what she worked on and for what she did shoot. There's been a lot of praises for that, actually, saying that she did a very wonderful job of filming this movie, despite it being looking digital, trying to make it a little more like a classic Western in that kind of way, with the cinematographer that also took over her position. People have said the cinematography is some of the best part of that film. I think it had an 18% rod. Ooh, Ooh,
Ooh. Oh.
looked like it had an 18%. No, I think it has a
Ooh.
it has about right now a 45% rating. 45% rating by critics, 76% by general audience. The IMDb score is about at a 4.6 out of 10. So, ooh.
Ooh.
So, definitely a lot of mixed receptions. Audience is saying that's good. Critics are a little bit more critical, but with a film like this, they're going to be critical regardless. Even everything was great and everything. I think what kills me is what the director said I should have never in the damn movie. It does remind me of the Crow's creator when he wrote the book. I'm like, you know the tale of the Crow, right? Or do you not know the behind the scenes stories of the Crow? Do you know no the actual comic book, not the movie, but the actual comic book, as in the actual creator's life?
I truthfully, I have not.
Okay, story time.
Story time with Joker, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away,
The
Joker.
Crow actually probably one of the darkest comic books out there you could read. This creator for The Crow has not had the easiest lifestyle to begin with. Now, why is that? When he was James O'Barr, he there's a great video on YouTube. I'll probably leave a link to later for you. But here's a quick summary. He's not had the easiest life. Went through foster home after foster home. Even when he was finally adopted, spent a lot of time in a movie theater actually, because parents would be working and you would just be sitting there watching a movie. But didn't really have the best lifestyle. Was in the military for a while. He had some penmanship skills, so he was drawing a bunch of stuff for them as well. But when you get out of the military, he said, "Well, what can I do? Drugs, bar fights, you name it. Not the easiest lifestyle, really. It's a kind of a sad life, really. But he's able to find some romance here and there, and he's been slowly working on a comic book called The Crow here and there. But it's not the happiest lifestyle. Because he was late for a car payment, he knew the cops were coming after him. So he called his girlfriends like, "Hey, look, I need you to come pick me up, please." Tragedy struck. There was a drunk driver that unfortunately killed his girlfriend on her way to pick him up. He has very much, blamed himself. Had I waited, paid what I was owed, or just said, like, "I'll be home soon, like, I'll walk," maybe this event would never have happened. So basically, The Crow is kind of like a small autobiography of his lifestyle, along with a farewell to his girlfriend. In fact, even the girlfriend in the comic book is based on his actual girlfriend. It's kind of sad actually, even to how like it gets in shipped to stores. It's that wonderful tale of, "Hey, do you have something I can sell for my comic book shop?" And he does have it. He's not thinking that it's not going to sell well. It's not going to do well for any comic book, but it does. Who kind of gets attached to him? One of the creators of TMNT, who has his own publishing company. It's like, "I will help you publish this, get to a wider audience," and it gets bigger. But I think when you really look at The Crow in the movie, and unfortunately the incident that happened to Brandon Lee, it's like history is repeating again. It's a great video that I'm going to leave a link to you, but The Crow is just, it's like, wow. But, nowadays James is better and everything. He's gotten healthy. Finally he was able to forgive himself for what's happened over the years. The Crow is definitely a revenge comic book, but it's definitely violent, but also very much more personal. It's like it's almost like him kind of piecing together at the end. So
Hmm.
I mean, it's a great video, but the pro, like when you realize what happened to James in his life and what the character goes through in the comic book and in the film, it's like, wow, we're seeing it from his like point of view. It really is something that is both heartbreaking, but also it's really really sad and it's really tragic. But I think that's what made the crow a bit more longer for me because when you learn the history, it's like, wow, I did not know that. But I think that's the end. Do you want anything else? Instead of being doom and gloom, do you want to share something more positive in the end? So let's end more on
Well,
a happy note than something that's a little
well,
doom and
Joker,
gloom.
how are your feelings on Dynasty Warriors?
Um, you know, always wanted to play a couple of them, never got a chance to. I tried the demo for one of them. I'm like, all right, it's all right, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what I could end off on. That would be a good balance.
I know something more
To
positive, but to the family, to the cinematographer, I do feel, our heart and soul of Nightcast and Knights of the Round Table will always forever be with you.
Exactly. That's how we go, and that's how we go about things because we do our best to report on these matters and issues and everything because these are heavy topics and it takes a lot of nerve to bring these into light with last week's Andor topic that thank God I had a lot of good people help me guide through that. Oh, take care, Lilith. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by, hanging out with us. Um, in a manner of speaking, though, apparently, for Dynasty Warriors, this might be some good news. We'll take a crack at it. We'll take a crack at this. So, Dynasty Warriors Origins producer says less fan service was not an explicit goal, but a side effect of game's serious direction. Sex appeal is still important, so the team worked hard to strike the right balance.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Like, would you say
Uh,
sex sells, but it could be like the First Descent, which is like, it's fine, it's decent enough to get by. The characters' designs are really good for the males and females, but if they just have good looks and not really any cool abilities besides offenses and defenses, and some of them might play the same or feel a bit too samey, it's not going to last long. Sure, the spa sequence that when they gave the update got a bit more players back in, but it's like, well, you need to do more. You need to do more with your story. You need to do more with these characters. Otherwise, people are going to play them. A lot of people like me and Fire Devil, we very much love Goddess of Victory Nikkei, but it starts off with a good solid high above average C story, but then it becomes a good solid B story. Almost in a couple events, gets to an A storyline. I'm like, damn, it kind of gets better as the story goes on. And yes, it's a gotcha game. Get yourself a lot of waifus here and there, but guess what? It works. It sells. But they're also good characters to learn about. You gotta learn everybody? No, but pick a few here and there, you'll find something that's really interesting. And I think that's a good selling point.
exactly. So, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? In seeking to assure fans as to the continued creative sanctity of their signature Muso style action games, Dynasty Warriors, sorry, Muso action style games, Dynasty Warriors Origins producer Tomohiko Sho says that the reduced fan service seen in the reboot compared to previous outings was not the result of some ideological censorship, but rather the dev team's desire to produce a more grounded adaptation of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The 10th entry in the Omega Force developed Koei Temeko produced hack and slash series. The fact that Dynasty Warriors Origins puts players on the front lines of the various conflicts that defined the end of China's historical Three Kingdoms period is nothing new after all. The series takes its inspirations of characters and events from aforementioned novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a romanticized retelling of this tumultuous real-world era originally penned by medieval Chinese author Lu Guanzong. However, what sets Origins apart from its predecessors is its approach to the material. Rather than its campaign blitzing through the entirety of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms in one go and leaning more into the anime with its aesthetics, the game chooses to take its time getting to the fall of the Wu Dynasty, instead presenting players with a more grounded, albeit still video game-defied version of the story that only covers the first half of the novel. Oh boy.
I mean, the
And
producer does have the right idea. It's always got to be the balance. Like, but I think that's a good, fair point to have, actually. I think that's very cool to have, actually, to have that right mindset for a lot of stuff.
because remember, this is actually based on something that like did say real world. So this was the Wu Dynasty, China's golden age of all empires, dynasties, way before communism took over that entire country. So as it states, and while not necessarily highlighted as part of the game's marketing, one additional difference in Origin's take on the franchise's identity is that its versions of various female characters like Sun Sheng Zheng, Yu Yan, and Dao Chan are dressed far less fantastical than their previous counterparts, with their bare legs, cleavage, windows, and other such design elements being replaced with more realistic garb, and their respective physics have also received a likewise downgrade. Given the current state of puritanism that happened that happens to be sweeping the globe, it came as little surprise that upon discovering the female-centric design changes, many players began questioning whether Omega Force or Koei Temco had chosen to begin deferring their design intentions to the ever-changing whims of internet scolds. But according to Show, it seems this was far from the reality of the situation. Show, who currently serves as president of Dynasty Warriors developers Omega Force and has previously provided his talents as lead designer and producer to the entry of the series core line, offered insight into this topic while speaking with 2chan Image Board founder and current 4chan owner Hiroki Nishimura about Origins for the latest entry of the one tried threading Hiroki to a game, a regular feature hosted by Den Fam Nico Gamer, in which the Japanese news outlets presses the eponymous internet icon as to his thoughts on on whatever title happens to be currently catching his interest. Per a translation of the interview provided by Hiroki, this game gives off the impression that there's less fan service than usual. Was that intentional or just how things turned out? Show explained, it wasn't that we set out with the explicit goal of reducing fan service. Rather, we focused on maintaining the overall tone of the game, and our general approach was to remove anything that didn't quite fit. That said, while some yaoi-esque elements and puns still snuck in, he then laughed. But aside from that, the way we presented the characters, their personalities, and dialogue could be described in simpler terms as more serious or grounded. We had a clear goal to highlight the appeal of Romance of the Three Kingdoms as much as possible, And since we are aiming to create a story that players could really get immersed in, the fan service elements naturally ended up being reduced. Oh, that was a lot to read, Joker. That was a lot to read.
But it's also Dynasty Wars. I think people may or may not care a whole lot when you're doing more of a non-historical, no, I would say more of a historical fictional take on a lot of characters who were around at this time, people who did exist at one point or another. You're gonna have to find a strike that right balance of, okay, we can kind of get close to what they look like or what was described about them, but they're not going to be fully sexualized in a way. I mean, there's still beauty in what these characters look like for the females and the males as well. So that's a bit good thing. Like to
Yeah.
have. Like, are they ever going to get close to the actual person? No. But I think there is a good thing. And they're also saying, look, these characters did exist at 1.9. For some of them, at least. Not all of them, some of them. But at the same time, we're still making a game. So how can this be fun and engaging to us while giving us some insight, a little bit, of these more fictional takes of these historical figures? So I think he absolutely nailed it. And this is a good quote to kind of remember to live by. I think that's a pretty positive to have.
He goes on to further say, subsequently met with the observation from Hiroyuki that even in fighting games, female characters often end up having fan servicey elements added. So I felt like your decision not to go that route was a deliberate and thoughtful one. The Dynasty Warriors mainstay assured. For example, with Sun Shane Zian, we felt that forcing fan service just didn't suit this title, and as for Dio Chan, her role in the story is very important and serious, so we were quite clear about the direction we wanted for her. Asked by his host, Dio Chan's the kind of character that could still work even if you made her super fan servicey, though, right? Show further detailed in this version, Dio Chan has a unique background. For instance, she's been trained in martial arts, so we wanted to make sure her outfit looked realistic for someone who can actually fight. If we forced fan service into her design, it would feel out of place during combat, so we intentionally tried to minimize it. Obsessively aware of just how bombastic this admission could come off devoid of further context, the producer made sure to explicitly note that, of course, sex appeal is still an important element, so the team worked hard to strike the right balance. Joker, your thoughts?
No, no, he's right. He's right.
Look, we can drool and get giddy over hot female characters in very out there fighting outfits and everything like bikinis and all that and still have a good laugh about it. But I do understand where show is coming from though. I understand. Yeah, we like fan I mean you and me both like fan service the whole 9 yards. But here though, this is this screams to me this was not forced by the crazy lunatics we see nowadays or the forced censorship. This has more of a grounded meaning behind it. Like, look, we want to present she's still beautiful and we want to give her a serious story and everything and the costume design to make it as realistic as possible while still maintaining her appeal. And I feel like he is correct. You could still strike the balance. And that's what made it and that's what I like about this because he's telling it from a grounded perspective that actually makes sense. But Joker, your thoughts on this whole thing?
No,
Go
no,
right
no, no.
ahead.
This director said everything that I wanted to say, so he's absolutely right. Like, there's even some shows that I watch that are historical fiction, like Last Kingdom. There's still some, like even my mom said, like there's some very handsome gentlemen, like in these shows. I'm like, yeah, they probably may not look exactly like they do maybe back in the day, but it's like, you know what, they're playing a character that did exist at some point and whatnot. even though these are more fictional takes, they're still a character. You want to see them, if they can get back their kingdoms or whatever the obstacle they have to get over, even with the females. Again, people are going to say, do female Vikings exist? They did exist, but even for those shield bearers, they were strong. They were like, for those shields back in the day, but those who did like command the when they're on when they're like on a few things, yes, they did exist. So I think even my favorite female will always be the first love interest for Uhtred. But I always felt bad for this actress too because it's like she's not gonna have a happy ending, is she? And the one time the writers, I'm like, thank you, writers, for giving her something happy. It was taken away, and I'm like, well, but it was also poetic for the character too because I knew she was gonna go out one way or another. I'm like, damn it, knew it was coming. I think even one of my favorite characters is one of the queens. And well, yes, in the actual history, Uhtred does marry one of the queens in actual history. The show's take is a little different. But then when I asked my mom, like, hey, what does she mean by this? And she's like, well, that means this back in the day. And I'm like, I should not ask you about this because now my favorite character is about to die. I shouldn't have asked you. So I'm like, damn it. But anyway, guys, that's it for us. So I thank you all for stopping by for Knightcast. We will see you this Thursday night, hopefully, as we continue with Black Cat. So hopefully this time
Oh,
around.
Jasmine, about that, Jasmine did message me. She got the power cord for her laptop, so we are all a go
Okay,
tomorrow.
good, good. We are good
We're
to go.
we're we are all good to go. Tune in tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you guys want to join in on the watch parties and the discussions, the links are always right there. Just ask, boom, 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 and because we would love to have more opinions. We would love to have more people come on here and sit and watch with us and have episode discussions. That's what makes the watch party so good. And we love and we always get giddy every time we see the poll going up and down and everything. It's so exciting to watch it. It's like, oh, who's gonna win? That's the beauty of all of this. And thank you everybody again for making Nightcasts awesome. Thank you for sharing the links. Thank you again, Joker, for providing the topics. I appreciate you. Even the off the book ones like the rush run and everything, because there's always time. We have time to fill this in. Even though it's a 2.5 hour show, we could always fill something in. But oh, real quick, Joker, tell everybody about your opinion on Accountant 2 real quick.
I actually really did. I really did enjoy the encounter too. I took a good friend of mine with that. I waited years to see a sequel. I know they was working on one, and still funny like the first one. There's a really good setup of the opening that feels like a nice thriller that you want to solve the mystery too. With okay, who are these people going after J.K. Simmons' character, who's this mysterious woman, and with you get to see more Ben's brother in this film, actually, not Casey, but the actor who played his brother, John, Punisher himself. He was much better in this film than the first film. Definitely, he was in there for a little bit, but I do like that. If you like films that have this brotherhood friendship going on, like, big brother, little brother, you wonder, am I responsible for this, or are you always a little with your disability? Do you blame that? Ben says an excellent line in the film that anybody who has a disability like me will tell you that is true. I am me and only me. So, hey, Jasmine, thank you for coming by for a little bit.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
that is
But
definitely true? And I actually do like some of the action a little bit. Not a whole lot of action for these films, but if you do like a good shoot 'em up at the end, there's a good shoot 'em up at the end. And as always with Ben in these movies, he's completely funny in several different scenes where I couldn't stop laughing. I'll even tell you this: they do the freeze frame at the right moment where I bursted out laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, they timed it correctly!" But it's really good. So I'm hoping for a third movie. I think I like this movie a little bit better than the first film, but I might have to go rewatch the first film again. It's been years since I've seen that on the mega screen. So I really enjoy this. So if you guys want my seal approval, I'll still give it an 8 out of 10. I still like this film a whole lot. Same thing as the first movie. That was an 8. So that was really good. So I'm excited to see the sequel. And hopefully I'll see
Exactly.
Thunderbolt next week. So then we'll get our opinions on that one. Oof.
Mhm. Milk Cow, welcome, buddy. We're about to end the stream, but thank you guys again for the last minute likes and everything. Tune in for a lot more to come. Tomorrow is the watch party. Jasmine, we will see you there. We're glad that everything worked out on your end. Take care, everybody, and remember, everything helps. Anything helps with the channel. We want to keep this going. We love doing night casts and everything. But like always, me and Joker appreciate everybody. We're going to get out of here. Take care, guys. Stay beautiful and have fun.